All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So look, it's official, right? We got the Senior Bowl roster. The offensive side of the football has been revealed for both the Detroit Lions and, of course, the New York Jets. Let's take a look at some of these prospects. So starting off with quarterback here, we're rolling with Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, and Carson Strong. Carson Strong, man, I feel like he doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, man, I really feel like post-combine and post-pro day, his stock is really going to boom. Wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, Alec Pierce, Romeo Doubs, Beau Melton, Khalil Shakir, Christian Watson. He's another really underrated player, just a big-bodied guy. At tight end, we have Trey McBride, Charlie Kohler, my guy, Cole Turner, Jake Ferguson, and Jeremy Ruckert. Running back, Hassan Haskins, Jerome Ford, Abram Smith, Rashad White, and Jeremiah Hall. For offensive line, we have Nick Sakel, Matt Waltzko, Andrew Stuber, Abram Lucas, Trevor Penning, Bernard Raymond, Cole Strange, Daniel Fellaille, Luke Kadecki, Marcus Hayes, and Zion Johnson. Man, I gotta be honest with you, I am totally impressed, totally satisfied with this list of prospects here. Not only, of course, because these guys are good football players, but because the Jets staff has the luxury of coaching these players for a week. And then, of course, we have the game. And look, it is only a week here, but a lot can be learned in 1 week of practice. Trust me. So with that said, I wanted to take a look at some of these players. I guess keep an eye out for these names, really monitor how these guys do throughout the week. I guess just a couple players to watch, I guess would be a better name for it here. And we're starting with tight end from Colorado State. We all know him, Trey McBride. Coming in at 6'4", 260, Trey McBride's production last year was absolutely insane. He had over 1,000 receiving yards, 86 receptions. Are you kidding me? Those numbers are crazy. They are nuts. And we're talking a college tight end. This isn't a wide receiver. The college football, they're not playing 17 weeks or anything like that like the NFL. Those numbers are elite. You look at his size, you look at how aggressively he plays the game of football, how he is in the blocking department. I mean, man, he does a lot of really, really attractive things. He works well with the football in his hand. He wins 50-50 balls. He's been a security blanket for that Colorado State offense. I mean, man, they actually do a lot of what the Jets do as far as like misdirection and whatnot. I love McBride, and I love even more that the Jets coaching staff now has the opportunity to not only just be around him, but literally coach him throughout the week. Next up, my guy Charlie Kohler. Okay, 6'6". This guy is the ultimate clutch player for the Clones offense. It doesn't matter if it's 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 17. Charlie's coming down with the football. Okay, an absolute matchup nightmare. He's big enough to where he can box out nickel corners and safeties, but he's also fast enough to where he can outrun outside linebackers. I mean, you can line him up in the slot. You could, line him up as a traditional tight end, hand in the dirt. I think you could just do so much with Charlie Kohler. His catch radius is humongous. Security blanket. He's again a clutch overall player. Red zone threat. I think Kohler's a really, really underrated piece, not to mention just his leadership at Iowa State as well, his development as a player. That offense under Matt Campbell and Manning, they did a really good job of getting 2 tight ends involved a lot. And I mean, it was no secret that the offense really ran through Kohler and Breece Hall, and defenses struggled to stop Kohler every week, every year. Okay, I mean, really since Kohler was at Iowa State. So just a huge name to keep your eye on. Next up, tight end from Ohio State, Jeremy Ruckert, 6'5", athletic. He can hurt you in the passing game, but man, he is a dominant blocker. He is a really good blocker. He never really had the overall volume as a pass catcher at Ohio State. Ryan Day's offense is all about, downfield shots, vertical shots with the guys on the outside, really taking those strikes, not being afraid. CJ Stroud is elite. I love CJ Stroud. But anyway, and by the way, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, I mean, they have so much talent at the wide receiver position. It's insane. It really is. So the overall volume, again, the production wasn't really there. So he's projecting into the NFL as one of these guys that has that high upside. He might be considered a chess piece in certain offenses. You can move him around, but definitely a sleeper. Nobody's talking about Rutgers going around 1, round 2. So a middle round guy here who has the chance in this week. I mean, this is what the Senior Bowl is all about, but has a chance to really improve his draft stock in front of not only just the Jets coaching staff, but the Lions coaching staff as well. Rutgers a really intriguing prospect. Next up, wide receiver from Rutgers, Beau Melton. He's on the shorter end, 5'11", but man, is he stout. He works really well with the football in his hands. Sean Gleason just feeding him the football. This guy, yards after the catch, it's all there. He can hurt you in the short passing game. He actually does a pretty good job with 50-50 balls for being a 5'11" guy. He's a type of player that I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers would draft in like the middle rounds, and he would pop off out of nowhere, almost like a Deontay Johnson. I don't want to compare him to Deontay because Deontay's explosive, but like really explosive. But I really like Beau Melton a lot. I watched a lot of Knights football this past season, and I feel like he's a guy that I feel like whatever team lands him is going to be pleasantly surprised once training camp arrives. Next up, wide receiver from Penn State, a fan favorite, Jahan Dotson. He actually reminded me a lot of Elijah Moore back when he was at Ole Miss. Not the biggest guy in the world, not super imposing physically like a Brandon Marshall or like a DK Metcalf, Julio Jones. He's a guy that excels in route running. He can hurt you at all three phases of the pass game: short, intermediate, and the deep parts. He gets open, man, and really that's the name of the game. You look at Mike LaFleur's offense, that's what it's all about. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, that's what it's about. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk. It's the guys that can get open. It's the guys that can create separation between themselves and the defender. Okay, and that's what Jahan Dotson really does a good job at. Next up, wide receiver from North Dakota State, Christian Watson. We talked a little bit about him before, but man, he is massive. He's 6'5", a little over 200 pounds. Christian Watson, to me, I think you could get him in like the round 3, 4, 5 range. Of course, there's still so much time before now in the draft, Senior Bowl, pro days, combine. I mean, there's still so much time for these guys to boost their stock. He's a little raw, but I feel like he would be an awesome fit for a team with a young quarterback that needs an outside perimeter threat. First team that honestly pops into my mind is Jacksonville. They need help at wide receiver. I mean, man, they're running out Tavon Austin. I love Tavon Austin, but like he was like their go-to guy at the on the back half of the season. Marvin Jones. Like Jacksonville needs some weapons. Even New England, Chicago, like a young quarterback. I feel like Watson can take some of the pressure, can alleviate some of that pressure off of a young quarterback. He's a massive catch radius. I really like Watson, high upside guy, and I really like these high potential players. I think the only thing that I don't want to say it's a red flag because it has nothing to do with Watson as a player, but as far as his fit with the New York Jets is concerned, we already have that big-bodied perimeter guy in Corey Davis. But I mean, you look outside of Corey Davis, we don't really have that imposing wide receiver. I mean, Jamison Crowder set to hit the open market. Braxton Berrios is also set to hit the open market, but if he gets brought back, I'm assuming he will be. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's on the shorter end. Elijah Moore on the shorter end. Nobody really knows what's happening with Denzel Mims. Jeff Smith's on the shorter end. Again, it's all about separation within this offense, but I think Watson is just really intriguing. I think that's going to be a guy that he has a massive opportunity here to impress the Jets coaching staff. At running back, we're going with Hassan Haskins. Now, right off the bat, Haskins has so many good qualities, right? He's a power back, downhill runner, tons of production at Michigan, just the bell cow guy. You could just feed him, and it almost just seems like he never breaks down, he never gets tired. As far as system fit is concerned, I think Haskins is more of like that downhill punisher. Think of a LaMichael Pirine here, but this is the beauty of the Senior Bowl. Haskins has an opportunity here to show Mike LaFleur, to show this Jets offensive staff that, hey, you know what? I am a versatile guy. I can bounce it to the outside. I can really bend that edge around the tackle and take these, outside zone handoffs. So he's a guy that, again, super talented, tons of production, a lot of volume at Michigan. I think he has a chance to prove himself that, where he can walk into this week and say, I'm not some one-trick pony. I'm not, limited to, the handful of teams that run a power-based system here. I can play for whatever team. I can help out whatever offense. Next up, offensive lineman from Boston College, Zion Johnson. He has really good size at 6'3", 315 for an interior offensive lineman. This is a guy who's literally played tackle, guard, and center. So he gives you that versatility to play all 5 positions on the offensive line. Has a lot of playing experience. He moves well in space. He pulls well. So I feel like he does fit what Mike LaFleur wants to do on offense. This is a really intriguing prospect. Next up is offensive lineman from Minnesota, one of the biggest boom or bust style of prospects in this draft. It's Daniel Fellaille from Minnesota. This is a guy who I'm really excited about to see get paired with this Jets offensive coaching staff, because we all know Joe Douglas wants to build the trenches. He wants to build these teams from the inside out. And man, Fellaille is a guy with so much potential. I mean, you look at his size alone. He's 6'8/6'9", 380 pounds. That is huge. 6'8", 380. That is insane. But he's also athletic. He's not just a big body guy. He's pretty athletic for his size. He moves well in space. Again, that's important for the system. And, you know, might be a little raw here and there, but I think this week is going to be huge. I seriously feel like if Fellaille can impress this Jets coaching staff in 1 week here, of course, you know, does well at the combine, pro days, all that good stuff, interviews well, I think Fellaille could be in consideration for a draft pick for the New York Jets, like relatively early, not in the first round, but, you know, maybe round 2, round 3. I could definitely see it. Okay, so this is a big week. A lot of potential surrounding Daniel. I mean, this is a guy that I encourage you to check out. Enticing guy for sure. But anyway, that's the offensive roster for the New York Jets. The defense, I'm sure, will be out at some point in the near future. Can't wait to see that. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who are you excited to see? Or is there anybody that you wish the Jets had on their team? Man, it's going to be crazy to kind of see how all of the dominoes fall. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.